like the way this sits. But here we are. Hey there! Welcome back to my channel, the coolest channel on YouTube. It's not been a while since my last video, but like in general it's been a while since I've talked to you. And I'm sorry for that, but I'm taking off my shoes. I was crazy busy this school year. Ridiculously busy. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, what I did. What took up so much of my time that I wasn't filming. Well, I filmed a bit, editing and uploading content. Why I wrote like 0 songs. Things of that nature. Let us proceed. The first thing that we should talk about is academics. I took 16 credits each semester, which, killer load. Taking 15 next fall, which is not that much better. College is hard, school is hard. At Calvin, most of the time, there are 100, 200, and 300 levels. There are a few programs you get a graduate degree in 5 years or whatever, and they have 400 and 500 level classes, but most of the time it's just 100, 200, 300 level classes. So in the fall I took all 100 level classes. In the spring I took one 200 level class and one 300 level class. The 300 level class was actually pretty easy, all things considered. The 200 was not. Whoops, my ass. But I did really well in it. So, that's cool. Also, there was this one core class I took last semester. 100 level. It was a mess. I still don't understand what I read. I brought these books home so I could actually read them on my own and try and understand. These are like written for graduate school level people. It's a party. So academics took a lot of my time. Should have taken a lot more than it did. Then there's dorm life. Calvin is really intentional about creating community. In case you're unaware, I go to Calvin College. So, Calvin is really intentional about creating dorm community. And so, my floor would eat together once a week, and we'd have a meal with our sibling floor another day a week. So, Calvin, you've got, most of the time, there are 2 dorms that are exceptions to this, but you've got, like, a residence hall, and each hall has 2 wings. And their theory is they're putting guys on one wing and girls on another. It often doesn't work out that way. The finger guns are because, I'm non-binary, in case you didn't know, so, I fit in there somewhere. Anyway. But each wing is 3 floors tall, and you've got the sibling floors, like, 3rd on one wing and 3rd on another, our sibling floors. So we did that a lot. We had events a lot. Dorm-wide events, floor events, floutings, which are floor outings. That's a thing that I did a lot of. I wish I'd been able to do more, but I did a whole lot. In addition, there's a whole lot of dorm leadership opportunities. And one of these positions is the academic help ambassador, which is someone who facilitates studying and knows all of the resources to provide to students or their peers or whatever, provided for students to provide to their peers. And is just a general helpful person in the realm of promoting and sustaining academia. My dorm had 4 AHAs. They all were approved to study abroad, different places. So we went from 4 to 0, so they needed an AHA for 2nd semester. We wound up with 2, one of which was me. And what's cool about that is most of these dorm positions are designed to be for sophomores, and the fact that they let me, a freshman, step into that role was really cool. Didn't really do much with it, but I tried my best. Then there is theater, which took up so much of my life. In the fall, I was on the set construction crew for our production, and that was good. Didn't take up too much of my time. Had a breeze. Loved every minute of it. loved it so much. During interim, I should have taken what's called a DCM, or Developing Christian Minds, which is where you like take a class from these subsections of classes and you roll with it. I didn't. I took the Amish project, and you saw like my final project for that class if you watched that like half-hour-long documentary thing. But I took that instead because it was like a production class thing. I probably could have found a way to work on it without taking the class. I could have taken a DCM, but I am glad I didn't. I was an electrician for that show, which means just involved in hanging lights, securing lights, putting gels or the filters that make color, just a whole lot of stuff involved in being an electrician. I was a publicist, or on the publicity crew, ballin', went to Starbucks with our theater professor and slipped on ice like 3 different times at 3 different churches. And I was an usher. So interim, I was crazy busy with the show. Spring, I was a carpenter, or a scene shop employee, which is like when I was on the set construction crew, except it was my job. So I started doing it like 4 days a week. Went down to 3 days a week, which is much more manageable, but only made that choice after spring break. Lost a lot of time. But so I was a carpenter, and I was on what's called the wardrobe run crew, which is the people who are in charge of costumes after they've been made. So like presetting things in the right places, steaming, ironing, all of that before shows, making any minor repairs. We had someone on the team, well, not officially on the team, who came and helped us with major repairs. But the kids sewed a lot of buttons and sewed a lot of shoes. The shoes are a story in and of themselves that I will probably tell later. So we do all that before the show, help with quick changes and things during the show. If anything breaks during the show, we gotta find a way to fix it. And then do so much heckin' laundry after the show. I couldn't bear to do my own laundry, because for 2 weeks, like every night, I was doing other people's laundry. But it's fine. I got over that. So I did those 2 things, and then I also was what I'm calling a live audio technician. I'm so salty about this. The week before a play is called Tech Week, also called Hell Week often, one and the same. Everything was a mess, so we should have had our crew view, which is when people not involved in the show come and watch the show, the week before Tech Week. We wound up having it the Tuesday of Tech Week. So I was like, hey, we're not doing costumes till that Thursday. I don't need to come early. I can come to crew view at like 7. I got a text on Monday at like 3 in the afternoon being like, hi, can you come to rehearsal tonight? And I was like, sure. What time? They were like, 5 o'clock. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went at 5, and I found out I would be making clock noises and wind noises and bell noises. And I would do this by, banging on some Tibetan bowls. Tibetan singing bowls, specifically. But oh my god, my director wanted them to be so slow, but also different speeds, because I had 4 bowls, and each bowl was supposed to represent a different clock. And there's this one sequence, the whole sequence was like under a minute. There were like 10 rings, 12 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings. So that's great. And literally no one in the audience picked up on what was going on. And the director would always be telling me to go slower. And then when I did go slow, she'd either say go even more slower, or why are you going so slow? Speed up. So I found out at 5 I was doing this, and they had me doing it at rehearsal at 7. It was a party. So all that week, and the next week too, I was in the theater from 5 to after midnight. I had to be there to do wardrobe stuff before the show, go over any gong notes, ring the gongs, and then do wardrobe stuff after the show. Will say, didn't have to help with quick changes, which was nice. but I was so cold sitting backstage because I was right under this draft. It was a mess. One night I was wearing like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and 2 coats. Couldn't wear gloves because you have to like be able to mute the balls. So that's fun. I actually loved it so much. I sound so bitter, and I was bitter a lot during then, but it's Gucci. I loved it so much. Every minute of it. So I was super busy with theater. Because then after the show, there's strike. You have to take everything down. You have to organize everything, blah, 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 blah. Also, one of my classes was a performance studies class this spring, so I had to do a lot of acting for that, and we had rehearsals, whatever. And then I was a part of this club called Saga, or Sexuality and Gender Awareness, which met once a week. I went to this thing called Secret Gay Club, which is a Bible study with our college chaplain and queer kids. Well, I don't think all the people there are comfortable using queer as an umbrella term, so with various LGBT plus kids, which also met once a week. You can ask me for details on when Saga meets, not on when Secret Gay Club meets. Those 2 things didn't take up a huge amount of my time, but they're adding, everything adds and stacks. I did this really cool thing in the fall called the LGBT plus dorm workshops, which was where we just went to various dorms and told them about how LGBT students on campus exist and like ways to respect us. And so we had some training for that, and then we went and did them, and that was really cool. There also was this thing called 24-hour theater where I wrote a play in like 5 hours and directed another one in like 12 hours. So all of this is to say, now we've entered the territory of like, there were so many random events that I participated in. There was this thing called the Cold Night Plunge, where I jumped into a freezing cold lake on campus in either January or February. The air temperature was 19 degrees. The water was most definitely colder. The coldest part was getting out of the water. And like there would be random times where I'd cook crepes with my friends, or I'd go to Steak and Shake at 3 in the morning. There's so much random stuff that you do that you can't really remember it all. Other dorm things, like I went to dorm worship most weeks, and our floor Bible study almost every week, except when there was theater stuff. But I was busy and thriving, and I couldn't juggle all of the balls that I wanted to, so I decided to just let one drop completely instead of doing a lot of things half-heartedly. This upcoming school year looks pretty busy too. I'm not sure how much you're going to get from me then, but expect a lot of good content this summer. And that is an overview of what my school year looked like. As far as health, because we gotta talk about that, I was great. I was fine, which is super bizarre. I had a lot of migraines first semester, which was really rough, but we upped my medication, and I didn't have a single migraine second semester. I've had one since I've been home. I've been home for a little over 2 weeks, and I've had one, but I had none the whole time I was at Calvin second semester. There was this stint where I went to the ER because I had some funky abdominal pain they couldn't diagnose. My healthcare center was like, please leave and go to the ER. And then the ER, I was there for 6 hours, and they were like, please leave, have some drugs, but we can't help you. We don't know what's up. The theory is that it was an ovarian cyst that burst, and I waited too long to go to the ER before. So by the time I got there, there was no evidence of it really on anything, but they just couldn't see anything. I also have stones in my kidney, but they're just chilling. They're fine. They're not moving. They're just there. But yeah, so I went to the ER for 6 hours. I didn't go to classes that day or the day after. It was a Monday, so Monday and Tuesday I didn't go. Wednesday I went to classes. I was pretty out of it. Didn't go to work. Didn't go to work that whole week, which was good in retrospect. So good. But Thursday I was supposed to have a midterm. Got that rescheduled. Friday I was supposed to have 2 midterms. Got one of them rescheduled. Took the other one. Got an 89 on it, and I'm really proud of that. I would be proud of it anyways, but it's the hardest professor on campus. Not his hardest class, but the hardest professor on campus. And I was still in a drug stupor kind of, and I definitely hadn't studied at all, and I got an 89. So proud of that. That's the 200 level class that kicked my ass as I kicked its ass. It was a mutual ass kicking. But so I was not doing any homework that week. But the next week was spring break, so I went to my friend's house in Kansas, but I spent that whole week doing homework. It was a mess. I was always backtracking from that point. We're playing catch up, where before I had kind of been a little ahead in some things. Anyway, that's the most exciting medical thing that's happened to me. Also, I became a vegetarian. The first semester in the fall, I was a pescatarian. Now I'm a vegetarian as of the first of this year. I think that was something I made a resolution to do. It's working. But yeah, that's what college year one looked like for me. No, like, real partying. By real partying, I mean partying with alcohol. Also, not a whole lot of partying in general. A lot of hanging out with cool people, but not a whole lot of partying. Anyway, no partying, no behavior my parents would frown upon, but really living into all the ways in which I could flourish. I also shaved my head over Christmas break, the very last day. Like, the first day I went back, I was like, here I am. This is so new, I haven't showered since it happened. That was a lot. But yeah, college was wonderful and busy. And I'm sorry that something had to go, but say la vie. I hope that you understand. I hope that you appreciate the content that I'm able to make now. And I hope you have a great day.